We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fantasy. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Changeling. We're here about to spend the club nighttime, club room time with Elliot overnight, so that way he can watch me sleepwalk out of here, which will be ballsy of my character too. I suppose it can't be helped. I'll be gone most of the day, but I'll come back to check in on you during the night then. Mark, you're coming down to the agency with me for now. Allie and Danny, the two of you should get home. Guess we'll assist you in dealing with your parents. You've been out out far too long. Thanks. If my dad figures out I've been out of the house all night, he's not going to be happy. Same. Everyone left after that through the library door, though they didn't go to the actual library. I was honestly too tired to be overly fascinated with it when they went through though. Elliot gave me a hug before she left, told me everything was going to be alright, and Elliot promised to watch over me. Danny didn't say anything to me, but after a weirdly tense moment between him and Elliot, he finally shoved Elliot's shoulder lightly and told him to not do anything dumb. Again, I was kind of relieved to see they were okay. And after they all left, Elliot and I were left alone. We sat in awkward silence for what seemed like a long time. I was too tired to actually fret about the awkward silence like I usually would. I was expecting him to eventually say something, but he never did. It was probably for the best, though. I didn't think I was really in a mental space to talk about what had happened earlier. I leaned against the sofa and curled myself around a pillow. It was still way too damn early, probably nearly 4 in the morning. I shut my eyes and just tried to forget everything that was happening, at least for a little while. I drifted off with Elliot still sitting beside me on the club room sofa. I awoke with a start. Where? It took a second for it to dawn on me that I was in the club room still. Elliot was also still with me, sitting at the end of the sofa looking down at his phone. I shifted and he looked up at me, smiling slightly. Did I fall asleep? I mean, I obviously had. For a bit, I thought it was best to let you. I stretched. My head was still fuzzy, but I felt a little better, sort of. My hair was still a little damp, but it had dried significantly. How long? Maybe 3 hours or so. Not really very long. 3 hours? Not much, but I did feel at least somewhat refreshed. My hair probably looked crazy, but not much I could do about that. Hey, I want to get some coffee or something, or we can stay. You could probably sleep a little more if you wanted. I'm awake now, I think, mostly. Probably wouldn't be able to get back to sleep if I tried. I punctuated that with a yawn, definitely an incredible indicator of my wakefulness. You sure about that? I made a face at him, trying to wrangle my hair into submission. Well, I guess we can. We just had to keep an eye out for my mom. I left a note saying I'd gone out with Allie. It should be fine. It's still pretty early anyway. You've been wanting to see where else the door goes to, so let's check it out. Is it okay? I didn't know why I asked. It wasn't like I'd been exiled to the club room. I just felt like I should be dealing with things, Spencer and all that nonsense. I wasn't even sure how much of that situation Pylos was aware of. It kind of had bigger issues at the moment. There was nothing we can do until we get specific direction from Pylos, so for now we just had to sit tight and wait. So coffee is definitely allowed. He didn't tell us we had to stay here or anything. Besides, I could use some coffee too. Still feeling a bit woozy from earlier, actually. Coffee might clear my head. Oh, yeah, I mean, that person, well, he looked away, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly. We can talk about it. I'm not going to freak out this time, I promise. Well, their blood was really full of venom. I spit most of it out, but it's hard as not to swallow some. Ick. Don't you have super vampire regeneration? Yeah, but it still takes a while to deal with things like poisons and venom. We recover fast, but not instantaneously. And I'm only an effective vampire. My recovery ability is nothing compared to someone like Mark. Are you sure you're okay then? We don't have to go anywhere. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I'm more worried about you, actually. Well, I'm alive. That's what matters. Everything else will somehow fall into place, I'm sure. I stood and stretched, suppressing another yawn. Okay, I guess I'll let you show me where the weird magic door leads. I paused, contemplating that. Never thought I'd say that to anyone. Elliot just laughed and said as well. Let's go then. Elliot led me to the door and did a slightly different knock than the library one. When he opened the door, instead of seeing the huge library on the other side, I saw a sunny courtyard. It felt a bit like walking into another land for sure. I was just glad it was warm and there didn't appear to be any witches with suspicious sweets lurking about. I stared in amazement as we passed through the door. Where even is this? The trees were green and it was definitely too warm for Pine Hollow. Not sure to be honest. I heard it somewhere in the Mediterranean or something. Feels too warm even for that. Maybe it's Australia somewhere. It's spring there now, you know? Okay, that's just weird. How do you travel to the other side of the planet through a door? Well, magic? I just shook my head as I looked around. I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's nice. We have lunch up here sometimes. I thought going off school grounds for lunch wasn't allowed. He just laughed. Well, he let us bend the rules occasionally. I followed him to a door on the far side of the courtyard. When we stepped through, we found ourselves in the murder. Elliot leaned down to me. I can't remember if I mentioned this last time, but the cafe exists sort of partially in the real world and partially not. The staff can exist in both spaces, but customers are only in one or the other. Anyway, this entrance leads into the paranormal side of the shop. There are a few other cryptics here right now. Just wanted to warn you. I looked around the place. I mean, it looked the same as it did last time. It did feel a little strange, though. Hard to put my finger on what was strange about it. Regardless, there were only a few other people there. They all looked normal as far as I could see. But then, appearances didn't seem to mean much on this side of things. Good morning. You're pretty up early. You're up pretty early, Mozzie. Considering it's not even a school day. Yeah, kind of weird night to be honest. So I've heard. He's already heard about what? News definitely got around fast, didn't it? So I guess you're here for help with just coffee actually. You came through here because we were at the club room. Ah. I wasn't sure why he seemed surprised by that. In that case, why don't you follow me? Bro led us to a table near the front windows and seated us before retreating for some menus. I stared out at the familiar town square. Through the window, I could spot a few cryptics lurking about. Not so many people yet, though. As Elliot said, it was still pretty early. So why did he think we wanted help with something? He seemed pretty surprised when he said no. Well, due to our line of work, I think they just have a knack for knowing when someone has a problem of some kind on their hands. Since we came in through the back, he probably thought we were here for that. I mean, it's not like we don't have a problem on our hands. Yeah, I see. I guess that makes sense. Sort of, as much as any of this made sense, really. Hey guys! Oh, hi, Corvin! Ugh, man, I was not ready for Corvin this early morning. Wow, so rude, main character. Wow, a date? Congrats! He handed us our menus, grinning at us the whole time. It's not a date. Actually, kind of it. We're just here for getting coffee, say nothing. What if I joke around and say it kinda is? Would he be like, shook? Actually, it kind of is, so thank you. I shot Elliot a teasing smile. He had turned bright red, as expected. But while I wasn't going tonight, I found it pretty funny to see him get all flustered just from that. Michiko? What? You think it's not? I mean, if you don't want it to be a date with me, if you don't want to be on a date with me, that's not it. Okay, well, I don't want to interrupt your totally not a date that maybe actually is a date, so I'll just be on my way. I'll return in a minute for your orders. He shot us a grin and a wink before he trotted off, somehow managing to walk face first into the kitchen door on his way in. Ouch, that looked like it hurt. Yeah. I looked his way. He still seemed a little dazed. I bit my lip, trying hard to suppress the little grin. The way he got embarrassed by every little thing was way more endearing than it should have been. I definitely should have been worried about all the things and not, flirting. But Elliot made it too easy, and the distraction from everything else was pretty nice. I reached across the table and took his hand. They were cold as always. Funny how I never noticed how pretty his hands were, especially for a guy. His skin was so pale too. I guess that was the vampire thing. I could see the pale blue veins interlacing just under the surface. Blue veins. Looks at my own veins. I looked up at him, but he was just staring down at our linked hands, and weirdly I found myself wondering what he looked like before being infected. Was he this pale before? What color had his eyes been? Blue? Brown? It was hard to imagine him without purple hair, but I kind of wanted to see that. I realized there was a lot about him I didn't know, and that I wanted to know, that I hoped I had the chance to get to know in the future. Hey! He looked up at me slowly. Thanks for dragging me out here. I think this is really what I needed. Oh, no problem. His gaze dropped back to our hands, that tinge of pink still creeping into his face. It wasn't like we hadn't held hands before, but I guess it was different when neither of us was sad or crying, and we weren't being chased by something. I didn't quite manage to hide the soft smile on my own face. I mean, maybe it was a bit presumptuous to call this a date, but that's what he meant it to be when he asked me out last week. And while we weren't exactly doing what we planned, we were still out together, so it counted, at least to me. And I was surprised to discover that I wanted to spend a lot more time with him going forward. For that moment, that brief moment, everything else had receded, and I was able to pretend it was a normal day, a normal date, and none of that ugliness or darkness was waiting for me outside the cafe. But even if I wanted to enjoy it a little longer, the moment passed. A loud couple passed by outside, jarring me out of the reverie. I gave Elliot's hand a final squeeze before I let them go. I sighed softly and looked Elliot's way. Elliot, actually, there's something I need to say. I do? What is it? I'm really sorry. Wait, for what? For what? You don't have anything to be sorry for. I do. I feel like I've been terrible to you. A terrible friend, a terrible everything. I said terrible things to Allie. I thought the worst when I saw you out in the woods, and hey, you've been dealing with a lot. I mean, a lot. Nothing you've done was wrong. It was. It's okay to admit I've been a jerk. I don't know if you're just a misogynist? Whatever? Misogynist? Or what, but you're allowed to get mad. You're allowed to admit I was wrong. Elliot laughed awkwardly, twisting his fingers together as he stared out the window. To be honest, I feel like I'm the one that's been pretty awful. I said I looked out for you, and I just totally dropped the ball on that. Instead of worrying about you, I worried more about proving my innocence. Because you didn't want the others to know about me and Mark, you kept the sleepwalking secret. No, that's not why I kept it a secret, and proving your innocence is important. But it put you in danger. You got dragged into my problem when you had your own to deal with. I feel like danger and the supernatural go hand in hand. I would have been in danger either way. Yeah, sometimes they do, but I wanted to be the one to protect you. You've helped me more than anyone else. I don't know about that. I don't know why you're so hard on yourself all the time. You keep reassuring me that I didn't do anything wrong, but neither have you. Look, whoa, that's a goddamn paragraph. Look at everything you've been dealing with this whole time. You've gotten fairly suspended from your internship, even though it's something you love. You had to deal with being suspected of murdering people, or at least with wanting to cover it up. You had to put up with Mark while looking for the real killer, which, by the way, probably took the patience of a freaking saint. And if that wasn't bad enough, you had to babysit me while I've run all over the place being a hysterical drama queen about everything. Yes, I have been. Elliot, you're an amazing person. You're stupidly kind, patient, and way braver than I am. I freaked out at the sight of that person I found, and seeing you. It had to be frightening for you guys as well, finding bodies and injured people. You just calmly dealt with it all, doing the right thing, trying to help everyone. I bit my lip hard, trying to somehow make him see what a great guy he was. He was a vampire, and he was awkward and silly and sweet, and way more mature than he seemed when you first met him. He totally needed someone nicer than me, less high-strung and with fewer identity issues. But even if it was true, I liked him, and I needed to tell him that. We're gonna tell him that. No, we still got time. I was saying we're gonna tell him that in the next episode, but we still have time. Elliot, yeah? I just want to tell you that we're gonna get cucked. Orders ready yet? Fucking figures. If it wasn't me cucking you guys for the ending, it was somebody else. Of course, thank you, Corbin. Neither of us answered. I had no idea what Elliot was thinking, but I was doing my best to not strangle Corbin. Have you two even looked at the menus? We were having an important discussion, which you totally interrupted. I think it must have been obvious I was irritated because he took a step back, holding the menus in his hands over his face. He's so cute. I sighed. Maybe this wasn't the best place for a dramatic confession anyway. Look, I really just want Americano, okay? And you, Elliot? The same thing is fine. Nothing to eat. We have a really great cream cheese bagel with lox. Not for me, thanks though. Elliot just shook his head. Corbin clicked his tongue in disapproval as he took our menus back. I hope you two know that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You're worse than my mom, Corbin. I hope you know that. That's mean. Corey, are you taking orders or just standing here talking? I got their orders. Then why don't you take them up to the counter? Corbin pouted as he retreated back up front. Morel shook his head slightly and sighed. Sorry if he's badgering you guys. It's fine. He's just being himself. So, badgering you? Well, a little, I guess. Morel gave me a long, silent look. He narrowed his eyes slightly and was quiet just long enough I started to feel uncomfortable. Are you really here just for coffee? What? What do you want? You want me to tell you I'm a changeling and I need some help? Because, girl, you better do it right now because this chapter is ending up soon. But this is where we're going to end today's episode off. They're probably going to have some kind of conversation. Or he's going to pry it a little bit out of her in some sort of way. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Touch it, I need that.